G'day everybody, this is Kane here. I'm going to make a bit more of an advanced guide on how to use the adversary sheet. This is aimed at higher level gameplay, but everything here that I'm going to be talking about can absolutely be applied to make the lower tier gameplay easier to run. So I'm going to presume you know how to copy the adversary sheet. This is the 2025 version. The first thing that you need to do is click on the setup and miss buttons, grant permissions, and setup triggers. This does all the JavaScript stuff. If you've used the PC sheet, the automation button, the auto jutsu insertion button, you'll be familiar with it. Just click all that through. And then let's talk about what you can do here. So I'm actually going to start from the bottom. At the bottom of the encounter tracker, there is this bunch of tables. All you have to do is insert a PC's sheet and it will give you their live amount of health, temp health, chakra, temp chakra, and show you in this graph, right? On the fly, this is really useful in the middle of a game. You can see immediately at a glance how much health and chakra your player team has. It also gives you their stats, the conditions that they have if they're utilizing the conditions tracker on the sheet and all that sort of stuff. So this is the first thing. This is the most useful way to know if you need to push harder or if you want to pull back against the player team that you're DMing for. The second thing I want to talk about is the encounter tracking itself. So how it works is you have an adversary. Let's say you have two. I duplicate it. I'm going to change the name of this person to something else. Let's change it to Evil Aussie. Right? So this is a separate entity from adversary. So as you can see right now, it doesn't have Evil Aussie. But what you do is you click on this button here. This unloads everything, and then it reloads the names at the bottom of the screen that are visible. And then what you'll see when it works, when it updates correctly, is that it will display Evil Aussie. It may take a bit to load, that's fine, that's normal. Google has been a little bit laggy recently. They're sorting out different server issues, so that also has an impact on this. But what this means is that all on one screen, you can see every single adversary that you're fighting or that you're using, and you can see broadly how they're doing, right? So here we go, here's Evil Aussie, right? So when he takes damage, you can actually see he's taking damage here. Now, the beauty with what we've set up is that if you click on this button here, this sets up a trigger, and all you have to do is, once it's loaded, you insert a number here and you press enter. And if it's working, you've given it enough time and Google has decided to play friendly, what this should do is delete or add this amount of damage to that adversary. So you can see all of a sudden Evil Aussie has spent 10 chakra, but I did it from the encounter tracker menu. What this means is that you can have, if someone does an AoE, a fireball that hits 10 different guys, you can just insert the numbers here very quickly and very easily, and it will apply it to the correct adversary that has taken the damage. So that's the second thing. The third tool that is very useful is actually hidden by default. It's to do with minions. It's an army builder, right? So how this works is you select the adversary that you want to have multiple of, right? So you've got like 10 different guys. I'm going to select Evil Australian, and then I tell them I'm going to have 10. It's basically a combined health bar for all of those 10 guys. And if you've done this setup and miss buttons trigger correctly, you can then select if you want to deal damage to them by this, so with editing the total damage or just ticking the boxes, right? So by default, if, for example, there's been an AoE that does, let's say, 50 damage, and it has hit, let's say it's a pretty small one. It's only 30 feet, right? In theory, if there's an army really stacked together, that could hit 90 different guys. That's quite a big jutsu right there. But we take it down a bit. We say it's move it to cone. It should probably only hit like 5 guys. There's only 5 guys there that is going to hit. Let's change it to 25. You can see, okay, it's 50 damage to 5 guys. There's a total of 250 damage. So you can get the calculation there. So if you've got this ticked, prefer editing total damage over clicking the boxes. What you can do is say, alright, they've taken 250 damage. Great. Now, that's not quite enough damage. Let's actually increase that to, they've done 2 fireballs. They've taken 500 damage. You can see this number has ticked up. Enemies defeated. The total health bar is gone. This is how much you have left. And what this should do is just help you keep track of this sort of stuff. So what you can see is that it's just automatically said, aha, my first guy is dead. And it's a way to keep track, alright, there's another X amount of guys left, right? So it automatically toggles them as they, like, it tells you that they're dead, basically. Now, if you want to do it the other way, you know how much damage they're taking. You can click this box, and what you can do is just then click this box over here, and you can just keep track of it in that way instead. So these are the 3 different tools that have been making my higher level games a lot easier to manage. They're keeping track of my players at the bottom of the encounter tracker page, just to see how my players are doing. The adversary tracker to see, broadly speaking, how my adversaries are doing, as well as this tool here, which is to keep track of many guys all at once. And as you can see, when I tick that box, it's actually added the damage to the total damage received, and then it's decreased this box here. So you can see how much of your army is left. So these are the 3 different tools that the encounter tracker has that can make your higher level gameplay just a little bit easier. Feel free to ask questions about how this works in the G Sheets question channel in the dev Discord for Naruto 5e. And yeah, let me know what you think, any thoughts, any feedback you might have. But that's everything from me. Thanks, guys.